Hello and welcome to Your Space with your host Hannah Arinaitu. Your Space is a platform that allows you, the youth, to express your views and express your thoughts about anything under the sun. Now with me here on Your Space is an amazing team that I would love them to introduce themselves. Hello.
Hi Hannah.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. My name is Joel Sakwa.
Nice to meet you, Joel.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm Monica. Thank you for having me.
Hello, I am Patricia Achano Kiria. I'm excited to be here.
This is a continuation about truthfulness and honesty, a discussion we had last time. But we didn't really get down to the points on what it is when it comes in relation to how we act in our daily lives today. And maybe I'd like to ask Sakwa, how many times do you think that the youth in your community even think about how truthfulness and honesty reflects in their day-to-day life?
From an honest perspective, it's really a difficult question because there's little consciousness about whether honesty is really important or whether we really need to consider ourselves as our actions, the words we say. I think life for us, the young people, is more so like we're just walking through it, we're just running through it. It doesn't matter what we are doing today, what we do tomorrow, as long as you're just getting through the day. So, yes. Yes.
You don't agree?
Yes.
To a certain amount of percentage of people?
No.
What do you think, Monica?
He's submitting for like 40% of the general public. At this age, you're just walking and perusing through life. I don't think so.
They call it just moving forward.
So even the four person knows what's up.
Knows what's up. So for you, do you really think, in your opinion, do you really think that the youth understand that the way we act in matters of truthfulness and honesty reflects in their day-to-day life?
Yeah, I do. When he said people are not aware of the importance of honesty, I can't relate. A 4-year-old child knows when you break something, you say it. When you do something wrong, you say it. We all know the importance, but they just choose not to go that way. So the question should be, why do we know the truth and why do we know to do better but to do the other option, really? Because we already know this is very important. It's not like save trees or what, where if you're not told, you don't know. This one we know. We really do know you have to be truthful, you have to be honest. Question is, why aren't you doing it?
Dr. Patricia, maybe you could answer that. We know that this is right, this is wrong, but then why? Why do we find ourselves doing the opposite?
For me, I think honesty and truthfulness helps to promote transparency, accountability, and even good governance in our country. And I think there should be a deliberate action to preach it more, because today you find that it's about mindset. People are doing those wrong things and telling lies and living dishonestly because it is a mindset.
It's a mindset.
Some young people are just trying it out to see what would happen. What would happen if I told a lie? How would this person react? But here we are saying we need to promote truthfulness. People need to walk in the light. People need to speak, to learn how to speak the truth. And the youth especially should plan to be distinctive. You know, when you're distinctive, then you're different. You stand out of the crowd and stand out as a truthful one, as the one who walks differently and even speaks differently. And that is what I think we need to encourage. Back to government, I think when we promote honesty and truthfulness, then we even get good results at our workplaces. Previously, we talked about how it even attracts promotion.
It does.
You would like to appraise someone who is honest and recommend a promotion. Because if someone keeps telling lies and does not complete his assignments and keeps hiding information and does not share and has poor social capital, I don't think it would be nice to work with such a character. So I think truthfulness and honesty basically promotes good working relationships, and it also promotes good governance, because recently we have been talking about declaration of assets. Now when a leader is truthful and walks in the light and is accountable to the people, then people will begin to trust that leader and people will want to be with that leader, and everybody else will change and there will be a total mindset change, and we'll have a good and better country to live in.
It's actually very interesting to know that in a way it reflects also in the people in government and the people in these whole big institutions. But I don't think really we understand that it really affects us in this kind of way. For example, a number of the people who I am with at university will not take it serious when it comes to doing coursework, being honest about it. They, as Dr. said, they want to test the waters to see how far you can go.
What
you
can
know,
he do?
what can he do if I just test the waters? I don't know if you have experienced that, Monica.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen it many times. Yeah, there are very many circumstances under which someone would just do something because they're like, okay, so what can they do? Because, you know, in growing up, even in our different spaces, we have these characters that are usually on the other side.
You mean the rebels?
Yeah, and the
The
funny
bad
thing,
girls and the bad boys?
you know, the strangest thing about this whole thing is that the community has learned to celebrate and hail bad characters.
Yes.
At school, when someone copies something and they do away with it, they get away with it, they're like, bad guy,
That's
instead
bad
of
guy.
checking them. So, in a way, we are also watering it. Because I remember back in school, I won't say where,
Disclose.
and we were in class, and then the phones were not allowed. There is this particular student who was caught with a phone, and then when the teacher clearly saw the phone, we all knew the boy had the phone.
But
Then when the time came, and then the teacher is like, get up, follow me to the whatever, the office, what, all those things, the boy stood up and boldly declared he had a wallet, not a phone. So we all had to be ushered into the office, and when we were there, the entire class said the boy had a wallet. So it was the entire class saying wallet versus the one teacher saying phone. And then at the end of it all, we all know what happened, but we're like, bad boy.
And you know, people call it solidarity.
Exactly. Sometimes
solidarity.
it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. Did you ever have any experience of solidar? I think in high school we call it
you snitch, you're
solidar.
out.
Yes, you snitch, you're out.
Yes, of course, the most famous solidar stories were class monitors that would stand in for everybody
No,
that was about to visit.
They were the Messiah.
Messiah, I'm sacrificing myself for everyone.
So this guy could come out and say, of course, nobody was shouting. I don't really have a list of the names, the real actual perpetrators. So, okay, then the teacher would say, okay, since you have no names, please go down.
Come and sacrifice yourself.
Go down.
I don't know. I'm actually very curious, Doctor. In higher offices, do we also have that kind of mentality of let's have solidarity
In the negative.
in the negative sense?
Well, in the higher offices, I think it takes another perspective altogether, where you find that sometimes employees can rally together to support one person and cover up his wrongs. But here we are saying today, when employees do that, that's why you see some people come up to actually strike or to challenge a leader. Challenge a leader because they think the leader is doing things against what they expect of that leader. So we encourage people to have open communication in service, and this is done through the regular meetings, the departmental meetings, the leadership, top leadership meetings, and it trickles down to even the lower staff, just to avoid that. Because when we look at individuals will always uphold moral values if they know the consequences for not upholding those values. That is why today most institutions have got the code of conduct. Just like public service is a public service code of conduct, which lays down standards of how a civil servant and public servant should behave. So beyond that, it means the person is in breach of the rules, and so the rules of the game are set. So someone cannot begin making people rally behind him to do wrong things. No, it is very clear. We follow laws, rules, guidelines, and policies which guide the day-to-day operations. But you know, human beings, there is always a bad apple in a basket of apples. Yes. Or there could be several bad ones.
Yes.
So the several bad ones could be the problem, and that is what we are dealing with today. That is why we have corruption, because there are several other people out there who are ready to compromise and do anything in order to amass as much resources or to acquire wealth illicitly. And that is dishonesty, because dishonesty actually contributes to corruption. And that is how people compromise and take bribes. That's how you find people participating in illicit enrichment or money laundering and so on, because of the selfishness, not because they are poor, because we have cases of people who are extremely rich who are actually part of this. So it's a mindset, and I think it is something which needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think last time we talked about white lies. And white lies are very similar to compromising, because something could be false, it could be a lie, but then you compromise it and it looks like a truth in some way. And I'm not going to lie, I have sometimes compromised the truth in one way or the other. But then maybe I want to find out from you, Monica, do you think that compromising the truth is against truthfulness and honesty?
Well, I have compromised before, but truth is, okay, personally, what works for me, I would maybe works for someone else out there listening now, right? When you compromise the truth, like we said, there are consequences that are attached to it. Like she said, there are always consequences, right? And the doctor has ably explained, if we understand the consequences of certain things, then maybe we will not withhold certain information or not go a certain way, right? How do we reconcile this to everyday life of, do I say the truth in full? Do I say it in half? And ABCD? That's where the white lies and the compromise comes in. Me, personally, like I was saying, if I'm a bad dancer at a party, but I'm all you know, all those things, I feel like, yeah, that's permissible, right? But then if I'm an NGO and they've sent me money and I'm supposed to give to this district, Sakwa is a district, right? And then I withhold that, or I underdeclare it, that becomes something else. Why? Because if you look at the consequence, like Doctor said, the consequence of you compromising or telling that white lie, if so many lives and destinies are attached to it, then it is not worth it.
But then we keep talking about the consequences, the rules. We know the rules. I mean, we know the rules. We know do not steal. Stealing is bad. If you steal, you go to prison.
Yeah, that's true.
But then, Joel, why? We know the rules. We know the consequences. But then why?
When you're trying to resolve the problem of dishonesty in the society, you have to ask yourself that question: why do people lie? Why do people tell the lies? And I think the biggest issue, the biggest engine behind most lies is safety. People do not feel safe in particular spaces. So either to protect what they have or to protect themselves, they'll end up saying something which is crazy.
Is that
of
why?
Course, you know.
Is that why men lie? That is why men lie.
I don't know why this conversation keeps on coming.
No, we need to know. We need to understand. Is that why?
Women are difficult creatures to deal with. Very difficult.
But
anyway, the point is that resolving the problem of dishonesty in society should not only be the responsibility of those people that have what to say, like compelling them to tell the truth. It should also be the responsibility of the society to create a space of to create an environment where they make it easier for these people that have what to say the truth. Because if you come up as someone has something to say, then you start intimidating them. You start
I hear that happens a lot in the law school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone told me it happens a lot in law school. I don't know how true. I don't know how true that is. Doctor, I know you did law. Is that true?
When you talk about truthfulness, I would like to relate it to personal corruption, where this person himself thinks about this and commits the act himself. You remember those things of mens rea and actus rea?
Of what? Of what? I've not understood that.
Criminal law.
Law students not
The
understand.
intention somebody has. So personal corruption basically pertains to that moral character of that individual. If an action has a corruption effect on a personal character, then he has got the ability to actually corrode the society and even the virtues of that person as an individual. Because at the end of the day, it begins with this small thing he's thinking about, that today I am going to tell a lie to my girlfriend. Man, I'm going to tell a lie to this girlfriend about myself and about so many other things. It begins with that. Then the girlfriend will pick that and also tell her roommates. Like, you know,
my man is rich.
My man is really rich. He's taking me out tomorrow. I saw all of you should come along. And yet probably the wallet may not be having anything. It begins with that small lie, and the lie generates into somebody's, you know. And
it actually affects other people.
And roommates come on board. At the end of the day, you take them out and you can't pay. They remain scrubbing saucepans and dishes. In
the restaurant.
So it can be so embarrassing. The same applies to workplaces. This small lie you tell your boss can catch up with you. Did I tell you a story of someone who told the boss that, you know, I have just lost an uncle? And so you remember the uncle who was here last week? He passed on and we are going to bury him. And off he went to do his own business. And it was so unfortunate that day that same uncle appeared from the village and went to his office. So the boss called him and said, the uncle whom you said had died is actually here. So how does somebody, it is so embarrassing. And big grown-up people in government tell these lies. Instead of walking in the light and telling your boss, today I don't feel well, today I feel a bit lazy, I have personal problems to sort. Walk in the light and tell the truth so that it doesn't catch up with you. Because the Bible says the truth
will set you free.
And you know, when you walk in truthfulness, you are as free as a bird in the air. Yes.
Let's take a break. When we get back, we're going to find out how then can we solve the issue of dishonesty and lack of truthfulness. Welcome back from that short break. You're still here on Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinaitwe, where the youth discuss everything under the sun. We are still here on the topic of truthfulness and honesty. Now, I've realized that we have been talking about how the government officials in big positions are always, you know, the leaders of dishonesty and, you know, lack of truthfulness. But then, don't these people come from home?
They do.
Don't they come from home?
They really do. So, yeah.
That's where the cycle starts
should
from.
Be like, what is not happening in those homes?
What's
like,
not happening?
It's from the roots. I think when they go into those places and they do what they're doing, we're seeing fruits of a deeper root. So if you trace the root, it will.
They are exercising the tricks they have learned
from home.
Maintaining things like jobs.
For me, I think it's a foundational issue which has to be dealt with right from the family. If parents bring up children with values and morals to uphold truthfulness and honesty, then these children grow up and are part of the society, and they're able to demonstrate what they learned from home. But if the parents are not truthful, if the parents are telling lies on phone, telling lies to their teachers in their presence, telling lies while they're driving in their cars in town and so on, then the children pick from there and they will think it is okay to tell a lie. And you find that it translates into their traits, into their character, and they grow up with it.
Even
so
when
eventually
sometimes you
when
don't
they
need
get
to lie.
work, when they get to work, then they will be the same children who are telling the other kind of lies to their bosses, to their employers, which is really, really embarrassing. So they should really be taught right from the time they are growing back. It goes to parental responsibility. It starts from the family,
from home.
The role of the family in inculcating values and to their children while they are still young and growing, because tomorrow they are the ones going to go to those positions of responsibility.
That's true. 15 minutes to work and you're like, no, I'm actually 5 minutes there, yet you're 15 minutes away. You're in town.
Right.
No,
I can see you now.
I can see you now. You're just dressing up.
Is that true? Is that true?
There is a conditioning. How are you? You have to be fine at any time.
Oh, that's true. Like a normality.
That's a lie no one ever tells.
Yes. Even when you're not.
I'm
good. Even when you're not.
Yeah. And then there is this other common one that parents, especially mothers, I have to say this, mothers have this tendency of endorsing their girls' bad manners. For instance, we are in school and they're like cut off hair, and the girl comes home and tells mommy, I don't want to cut my hair. You see what? And the mom will go
To
and
lie.
even fake a doctor's report to say the girl cannot cut her hair because she has problems. And then they'll come to school. This girl is keeping her hair on a lie. You expect her to go to certain places and endorse the truth.
Impossible.
We've seen this happen many times.
But then, okay, we lie and we are dishonest. And then what? Is there anything wrong that's going to happen to me
Yes.
if I give that small little white lie? Not like, for example, the girl who lied about her hair, then what? Did they
know
ever
you
catch
don't have
her?
a condition and we're watching you.
And
in
then?
future, when certain things come up, you see, I like what doctor said about, you know, there is a point she brought out about it affecting, like, how do you look at this person after? You get, like, the little lies, like, now, how do you start redeeming yourself from the lie you told? Because you're going to go back to that particular space and you have to, again, keep working there, thriving there. So me, I feel like one of the biggest consequences of lying is that the distrust that comes with it. People no longer relate with you a certain way because they know that guy never keeps time. That guy is always lying. If he says ABCD, it's usually XYZ. So why would you go through stress handling this person? Yet I know an honest Sakwa I can deal with.
That's true.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we're now going to look at how we can have honesty and truthfulness as part of our lives, like a daily routine, something that we find ourselves effortlessly doing, like how you eat bread or how you drink water. How can we make this a part of our lives, Joel?
I think since lying is a game of the entire society, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day. He told me that society is based on particular deceptions that have been, I don't know whether this was
created,
rude or something, but he said that society is built on particular deceptions that have been brought in and have been continuously protected.
Did you give any examples of those?
Of course, he gave several examples, like government. Of course, they were quite big, considering the space that we are in. We are trying to handle the home. But I think there is some truth in what he was saying, because there is a particular conditioning. There's a particular conditioning that society has handed down on us, and considering the fact that we have to be in this community, we have to socialize, we have to maintain our positions, our status, we have to be secure. Okay, so it really makes the entire game totally difficult. And the moment you tell the first lie, it's going to have what you call the ripple effect.
Yes.
Like when you tell this lie, you'll have, yes, that's what my mother could tell me. You tell this lie, you'll have to tell a much bigger lie
to keep it.
yes, to keep your game going, just to stay surviving. So that's our community. That's how we have got ourselves here. Particular families can be there when they are only kept together by a certain lie that has been protected, that has been concealed, that if it ever gets an opportunity.
When the moment of truth comes, you will want the ground to swallow you. Because to begin undoing the lies, you know, it takes a lot. So I think we need to talk more about the responsibility of the citizens. The responsibility of the citizens to change that mindset and begin working truthfully and to begin working honestly, so that they are able to inculcate those values in other people. Because we need citizens to live these values. There is need for them to translate this into their daily lives so that it becomes part of us. Because we cannot begin living on this, what Joel is referring to as a game. Because we have gotten to a point where we need the moment of truth.
Yes, please.
A lot has been happening in our country. You have heard about vices now coming in. But this is the time where we want Ugandans to wake up and embrace these values and begin promoting these values. And we cause the mindset change in the lives of our children, in the lives of the young people out there, in the lives of the citizens, so that there is a total change. And there is a responsibility which starts from family, as we have talked about.
As well.
And this responsibility stretches also to the schools, What kind of teachers do we have in the schools? The teachers should be able to inculcate these values in the children they are teaching by working exemplary as examples to the children. What about the politicians when they go to their communities? When they go to look for votes,
Talk about
that
that.
is the time we need to talk to our politicians to begin preaching the truth and honesty, not to begin fighting each other by smearing them and stabbing them on the back and talking all sorts of wrong things and dishonest allegations in order to win votes, or telling lies to the community members in order to get their support. So I think politicians have a role to play in order to change the mindset of the people in the countryside, in their different constituencies. Then we have got the religious leaders and institutions, the churches. They have a big role to play while preaching the gospel in church. Package truthfulness and honesty, because we have learned that the truth shall set us free. Even in the mosques, the Quran has got aspects of truthfulness which the Muslims need to talk about, so that the youth who fall within the Muslim community should be able to pick up and begin to walk in the light and demonstrate honesty and truthfulness. At the end of the day, it needs a holistic approach. All of us, you and I, have the responsibility to play, because accountability begins with me. So when we walk the truth, when we walk as honest people, everybody sees that when a house is clean from the inside, it reflects on
the outside.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I think for me personally, I'm going to start being very intentional about instilling this in my everyday life. How about you, Monica? What do you think we can do?
Well, basically, Doctor and Sakwa have ably put it, yeah. But I like the part where Doctor says that we all have to play our part, right? This is not something that we are going to say, we leave it to the government, we leave it to the religious leaders, we leave it to. It is basically us doing our part. So now I'm also putting a touch on myself, and I'm asking myself, okay, what is my part? I feel like the first step I'm going to do personally is I'm going to make it a safe environment for people to tell me the truth.
Yes, thank you so much, Monica, for sharing about that. But maybe I'll just like to have Doctor and Sakwa conclude on what they think we can pick out from this entire conversation. Sakwa.
I would summarize it in a simple phrase: mean what you say and say what you mean. That's the simplest policy.
Yes. Doctor?
When someone works and walks with honesty and truthfulness, then the results will speak for itself. That means the person has got ability to produce good quality results even at work. Thank you.
I think I'll also conclude with something very intelligent, something like maybe walk the talk. But this has been Your Space, a platform where you get the opportunity to express your views as the youth. See you next week, same time, same place on Your Space.